unfortunately, I don't want to talk about this, and it's going to be talking about Mr. Bryce Young being benched. If you're not up to speed up to this point, let me bring you up here. David Canales has made the move on Tuesday. This was just today, to bench, this was yesterday, to bench former number 1 overall pick Bryce Young. Canales said that he changed his mind because he did come out and say Bryce is our quarterback. He changed his mind after watching video Sunday night and consulted with the front office. He concluded that veteran Andy Dalton would give the Panthers the best chance to win in Week 3 against Las Vegas. Personally, I have very serious questions about how much David Tepper, the owner, had a hand inside of this, because I can't fucking stand the guy.
100%.
The Panthers have been outscored 73-13. The home crowd started booing at Bryce Young and this offense in the first half. Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson both appeared frustrated on the sideline in this last game. That's kind of bringing you guys up to speed up to this point. There's a bunch more to say about Bryce and whatnot, but I hate the fact that David is really putting his hand in this and has a lot to do with it.
Do you know how big of a moron you have to be as your head coach to come out and say, yeah, no, we're sticking with Bryce. And the next day, I watched film and I changed my mind. So you didn't realize that he played like shit during the game? Or did the owner come down and tell you that, hey, yeah, you guys are all, my God, do you know what they traded for Bryce?
King's ransom.
Someday we're going to sit here, we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation about the worst trade of all time. And we're going to talk about draft trade of all time. And we're going to talk about Bryce Young and we're going to talk about Trey Lance. Are you telling me that if the Cowboys traded Trey Lance to the Panthers right now, he couldn't do better than whatever the hell Bryce Young is doing? Bryce Young came from California. I watched this kid play football in high school. And then he went to Bama and he did great things. And then he went to, oh my God, he looks terrible. But yeah. Andy Dalton?
Yeah.
Tepper's an idiot.
Yeah. The thing is, so the big problem with Bryce Young is, one, he looks scared in the pocket, and two, he doesn't attempt passes down the field. The Panthers have attempted very few passes down the field with Young at the quarterback position. Almost all of his throws have been short and over the middle of the field. And checkdowns to an outlet receiver, he again appears to be playing scared in my eyes. His longest completion on Sunday was 12 yards. Carolina has failed to even test opposing defenses and give them something to honor in terms of a deep threat. 12 of Young's 18 completions were to a running back or a tight end. And personally, there's a big reason on why I don't want to talk about this and I hate talking about this is because I am a big Bryce Young guy. Watching him and believing in him coming out of college, very, very,
Josh
very
Allen's
heavily.
Overrated.
And
I love Bryce Young.
And all right, calm the fuck down. And the thing is I don't want to talk about it because I genuinely think that the Carolina Panthers ruined Bryce Young and the system that they put him in the first year and the offensive line that they surrounded him with in the first year as well. Completely changed his play style. He won't even look down the field anymore. And this has a lot to do, I think, mentally for Bryce Young at this point. Obviously, his height comes into consideration, but there's a lot to do with that offensive line in that first year. The second year, this year, actually, the Panthers have like a top 5 graded offensive line through week 2. They look pretty good, actually. But Bryce still won't look down the field because of where he was playing last year. It's unfortunate. This is probably the correct move. I would love to see him sit and actually learn, grow, regain his confidence, and be able to be trotted back out there, whether it's later in the season, next year, on a different team, whatever it is. I'd like to see him in some sort of form moving forward. Looking at the future, though, for the Carolina Panthers, if they've lost all faith in Bryce Young, which it seems like David Tepper in this front office has, what happens next? The way they're going, they're gonna lose. Oh my gosh, they're gonna lose almost all of their games. It's gonna feel like another top 5, maybe even the number 1 overall pick this year. And this year's quarterback class looks like this. It's Georgia's Carson Beck. It's Colorado's Shedeur Sanders. Texas A&M's Connor Weigman. Texas Connor Ewers, which I don't know about that. Miami's
Relax,
Cam
bro.
Ward.
He's playing out of his mind. Texas is the number 1 freaking school in the nation right now. Quinn Ewers, he's doing great.
And then Mississippi's Jackson Dart. So that's what the quarterback class looks like. We knew last year scouting this class, all of the talks, the previous class, all the talks that the next class is going to be a little bit weaker. So if you want a quarterback, you might as well grab him right now. Is the Carolina Panthers going to grab a quarterback in this next draft if they lose all faith in Bryce?
No.
They're going to draft Travis Hunter? Is that where they're going? Yeah, okay. Okay. They just can't pass on the talent.
Hey, when you're a shitty team, you got to put something out there that's fun to watch. And if you're going to play Travis Hunter at wide receiver, cornerback, and returner, that's just at least they'll sell jerseys.
It's true, and that might be all Tepper cares about.
The Carolina Panthers have been irrelevant for so long, and Cam Newton did his best. You know what I mean? But like, nobody on their team, their offensive line is doing really good. But these wide receivers, like Adam Thielen's like 103. You know, Xavier Legette, you and I both had him really, really low in our wide receiver rankings. They drafted a tight end, but is he good? It's hard to say. We don't know. Like, just because you're drafted high doesn't mean you're good. Once you step foot onto the field, your draft ranking doesn't matter anymore. But in my opinion, we got to stop treating Bryce like the number one overall pick. We got to pay attention to what he's putting on the field. And if he was a 4th round pick or a 5th round pick or a 3rd round pick or the Mr. Irrelevant, he'd be benched for his play the first 2 games of the season. And if we're talking about benching Deshaun Watson, then we have to be talking about benching Bryce Young. Yeah. It's just, he has not been any resemblance of a quarterback.
And again, it's unfortunate. I hate it, but that's the reality of the situation, and hopefully Bryce can get some type of help to get himself to where he needs to be to be an actual starter in the league. Because if we're being honest, when it comes to backups, he's probably not the most ideal backup in the world just because of his height and his stature. He's probably not going to get a whole lot of opportunities. While there's guys out there who might be just as good or maybe worse quarterbacks in terms of backups out there, they're going to get the better opportunity because they have the height, they have the stature, and they have then the experience to back all that up. So we might legitimately be looking at Bryce Young out of the league in a couple of years.